space for almost a decade, give and take now. I've been involved in multiple ventures, I've done a few ventures by myself. Specific to crypto, I've been professionally active for the last 4 years. It's been a turbulent ride, I would say, but a great one. I joined CoinDCX about 3 years back to head growth. The core vision at CoinDCX for us to essentially make the entire crypto ecosystem simple and accessible to Indians. And that's what we have been following up on a mission. And today I'm part of the leadership team leading and looking after growth, strategy, and analytics.
Thanks, Krishna. Sorry. Hi guys, I'm Siddharth. I head marketing growth currently at Fancraze. For people who may not be aware of what Fancraze is, we are into cricket NFTs. We basically are the official license holders of ICC and a few other players and teams across the world. And we are the people responsible for creating the cricket NFTs for them, right? That's just, I would say, the entry point in terms of what Fancraze actually does. Today, as I said, we are only into the NFT space, which is selling it through packs, single sales, and on the marketplace. Going forward, we're also going to be getting into challenges, play-to-earn games, and creating a metaverse for cricket entirely. So this is what it is about. Coming to what I have been doing. I worked with a few companies earlier, mostly in the fintech and gaming space, and professionally now in the Web3 space per se, right? So yeah, that's it.
Thanks for that. Since I think for all three of us, this is the first in-person event. So let's start with pandemic question. Minal, I'll start with you. What effect did the pandemic-driven digital transformation have, the impact it had on your industry specifically? Do you see that growth already continuing? Do you see that momentum continuing as well?
Sure. So I think I would sort of cover that in two parts. One is the overall sort of financial services industry in the country has been on a crazy growth curve, I would say, for the last 2.5 odd years. Talking at folks at Zerodha, Grow, the realization is that they have more or less doubled their user bases, doubled their sort of daily volumes, which I think at this scale is sort of huge, right? So I think the overall pandemic sort of allowed people with a lot of free time and a lot of, or I would say more money being saved, which allowed sort of the entire evolution of this personal finance and financial services ecosystem. So that definitely helped us because crypto is just another asset class, broadly speaking. I think the second piece is around Supreme Court sort of squashing the banking ban. I think very similar to the COVID timelines, I think back in March 2020, which allowed us to partner with a lot of payment gateways, sort of banks, and sort of smoothen the entire INR deposit and INR withdrawal experience for our users. And thirdly, I think somewhere around mid 2020, there is another fundamental event which happened in crypto, which is essentially called Bitcoin halving. That basically means that the reward which you get today on mining every block essentially becomes half of what it is every 4 years, right? So the last sort of halving happened in May 20, the next would be May 24. What happens with these four, and what the effect of halving is essentially that with halving you are entering into more digital scarcity of Bitcoin, which is the core sort of ethos of the asset class as to why the value keeps on increasing with time. And then that sort of led to sort of the last 2.5 years of bull run of crypto, right? I think these three sort of factors coming together, overall the pandemic has been sort of a blessing in disguise for us. We have grown phenomenally. To sort of share a few numbers, we were sitting at a few lakhs of users. Today we have a registered user base of about 13 million users. So we have grown about 120x user base. On a daily basis, we are processing about 8 to 10, at tops $10 billion of volume every day. Today we are doing about $100 million every day. That's about $3 to $4 billion of transaction volume every month. So we have grown more or less 20x, I think, on the volume transaction base as well. So yeah, I think, as I said, crypto has been a great sort of blessing in disguise for us. And I think with the overall, I think which we'll cover more in consumer trends on crypto, yeah, I think it's still at the early stages of crypto, right? Today we have about a few tens of millions of users in totality in crypto in India, which can easily go up to hundreds of millions, given that we have total sort of user base or internet user base of 600 to 700 million users.
Thanks, Sid, for that. Thanks, Minal. Sid, coming to you, NFT became a mainstream discussion now, and you started with Fancraze recently as well. What is the momentum that you see on NFTs and the future that you see on NFTs, and how did pandemic drive all of that?
The best way to answer that is I don't think any of us knew NFT before the pandemic actually was there. Right? So it's like the birthright of NFTs in a way. Obviously, once I think when NFTs actually came into the craze per se was after the first major sale which happened, which was the art by people. Right? That is when it actually came into play that this is something which can actually be a huge value for the user, in short. Web3, as of today, is obviously in its nascent stage, right? The first steps towards it was cryptocurrencies and tokens which are around that, right? That is, I would say, the entry point. NFTs are another, in a way, an asset class, yes, but at the same point of time, they also have a lot of things around that, around themselves that can be built, right? It can be proof of concept, for example. It can be utility. It can be something where you extend your personal life into the digital evolution, which is the Web3 / the metaverse angle altogether. To break it down into multiple phases, I would say there are at least 15 to 20 blocks which are there. Obviously, we cannot cover each and every one of them. But at the same point of time, NFTs are sort of an entry platform, like how crypto was to Web3. NFTs, I would say, is the step 2. There are a lot of things around it, whether it's there are DeFi companies who are creating the ecosystem of payments, right? There are people who are creating tokens and a few other things around that. All of them come together. NFTs are a layer which comes on top of that, which then creates, I would say, user persona, helps create a user persona, whether directly or indirectly, on the digital universe, which we call the metaverse. To answer your question again, before COVID, there was no NFT, so I'm glad that it came up. I'm sorry, not in that sense, but
I think it's one of the few industries which were impacted in a good way.
absolutely.
Coming back to you, Minal, you briefly talked about some of the consumer trends. Can you cover the current consumer trends that you see in cryptocurrency ecosystem right now, and how do you think these trends will impact the future and the scope of this industry?
Surely. So I think again that's a sort of pretty broad topic to talk about. So I'll maybe structure that into 2 parts. One, would sort of first try and maybe share a few numbers about how the global crypto landscape has grown over the last few years. And then second would also talk about more focused numbers around India, because as sort of one of the leading companies in India, we actually have a lot of user data about the crypto user base as well. So I think globally crypto continue to sort of ride that wave of adoption with some reports, with chain analysis, etc. I think the total user base, the crypto user base in the globe, sort of today sits around 150 to 160 million users. That number in itself might look a lot, but if you traditionally sort of think about daily active users of Facebook, Instagram, I think that is now into billions, right? So we still have a lot of scope in terms of just fundamental crypto adoption. And when I'm saying crypto adoption, this is people who have at least bought or sold cryptocurrency at least once. The second, I think, as Siddharth was also talking about, I think a lot has happened in the entire DeFi and the NFT ecosystem, right? So if you look at the entire crypto sort of evolution, every year is a trend, right? So 2017 was a year of Ethereum or sort of Web3 protocols. 2019 was DeFi, 1920 was DeFi, I think 2021 has been all NFT, right? So to think about a few numbers around DeFi, I think there is so a lot of DeFi protocols essentially allow you to either invest in new tokens, they allow you to send money to, of course, at low cost to borderless database addresses, and they also allow you to invest into more passive income opportunities, right, which has been the major trend in DeFi. Now, these passive income opportunities can sit around you participating in liquidity pools, or you just earning very similar to how we do with banks in terms of lending and borrowing. So there is this key metric in DeFi that is tracked globally, which is what is the total value of asset which is logged in all DeFi protocols altogether. I think that today sits at about $250 billion. Again, that number absolutely might sound huge, but if you look at the Goldman Sachs and the JP Morgans of the world, they hold trillions of dollars with them. Right? So $250 billion, I think, is just a starting point of DeFi. So I think those are sort of just broad global numbers. Specific to NFT, I think NFT has a lot of use cases, right? Is talking about, let's say, maybe one of the use cases of NFT, which is blockchain-based gaming, right? So today, I think gaming is primarily limited to, let's say, people who are into esports, who are professionally playing esports, and people who are streamers, right? The likes of some etc. But now with NFT, fundamentally, what you can do is you can actually monetize your playtime in gaming, right? So you can earn, let's say, virtual avatars. You can earn, weapons, and you can actually buy a virtual land in metaverse and stuff like that. Which ultimately, one can be owned by you, so that you can trade them, and second, they now own or they now have a real value or a real sort of money value, right? Because you can sell them to any currency now because of NFT. So I think that just opens up a completely new ecosystem for the NFT ecosystem to grow. One example would be Axie Infinity, which is sort of a monster-based Pokemon sort of a fighting game, right? Today they have about 3 million daily active users, and they do about $5 billion of transaction volume every day, which again is nothing as compared to gaming, but I think these are good starting points. So I think that's how the global landscape is looking at. Specific to India, sorry, I'm taking a little long, but specific to India, I think today we are sitting at about 30, if my estimates are right, about 30 to 50 million of total crypto users in the country. The primarily crypto adoption in the country has been driven by fundamental buying selling. Right? Not to say that Indians are not DeFi users or not NFT holders, they definitely are. But the primary adoption that I'm talking about is 30 to 50 million based is through buying selling. With respect to trends, I think the primary demography which we are looking at for this Indian crypto base is sort of in the age of that, primarily young. Of course, with the new taxation law, we are seeing a lot of equity investors getting into crypto. But till now, I think the primary sort of PG has been that 18 to 35 age bucket. The interesting trend is actually with the percentage of users that we have from tier 1 and tier 2, right? That just sits at about 50%, which is quite less as compared to a lot of other financial services. And we also looked at sort of the median portfolios or the average portfolios of, let's say, a tier 5 user versus a tier 2 user, and they more or less are the same, right? So I think that's a very interesting trend. I think the breadth of adoption and the depth of adoption of the crypto in India is huge. And I think lastly, we are seeing a lot of increase in female user adoption in crypto, right? So if the base was, let's say, 1090 a year back, it is now 2080. I think that's also an interesting trend to look after. So yeah, I think that's how I think the broad trends around crypto globally and India.
Thanks, interesting stats. You briefly touched upon NFT. But as it come to you, do you see any trends that will shape the future of NFT in India and on the global market as well?
Absolutely. Okay. As you mentioned, Axie Infinity, right? It is one of the biggest play-to-earn games out there today. The numbers which you mentioned are absolutely true. To give you an idea in terms of why globally NFTs and play-to-earn games and everything around that is making such huge waves, many countries in Southeast Asia and Africa, kids, students, people in the younger ages are actually learning how to play these games because the average that they earn every day is around $10 to $12 $1,500, which is a lot more than their average income per day in their country where they stay. So as of today, I would say that is the easiest win which we can pick up, right? But coming only to NFTs, again, where we are today, I would be a fool to say that these are the three things that we can do. There are at least maybe 10, maybe 100, maybe 5. I'm still not sure how many things are there that an NFT can actually be used for or can actually go into. Coming to what Fancraze is specifically looking at, right? For us, the entire focus is only. I'll first talk about the user trend and then build it on that, if you don't mind. For us, we do not push an NFT to a user. For example, if you go on Instagram or Twitter today, you'll see a lot of NFT projects where people are actually pushing that, this is the next big NFT, you should buy that. That's actually one of the biggest red flags. So you should not do that at all, just a personal opinion. The most important thing in an NFT project is always the community. Once you are in the community, whether it's on Discord, Twitter, those are the two main channels where NFTs are actually the most visible, the people are the most active. You can actually figure out what people actually think about it, what is the hype per se, and what is the roadmap. The few things which you actually look at any project is one, who the team is, sometimes that's available, sometimes that's not available. What is the roadmap that they're giving out? An NFT could be an art piece, it could be, let's say, the picture that he's clicking right now, you can sell that as an NFT, right? But what is the value? If you think that one of us might be the next big things, yes, obviously that might make sense. You can hold on and sell it tomorrow. So it might just be art, right? Then there are NFTs which build utilities around it. In utilities, you can talk about payroll games, there is the metaverse, there is proof of concept, there is trading, and a few other things around that. But as I said, there are so many different things that we can actually do. Coming to a very basic question, I take a step back. What exactly is an NFT? I'm assuming some of you at least may have played some games out there, right? Let's talk about PUBG. If you've ever bought a gun or a skin on PUBG, or if you've traded or bought a FIFA EA card on PlayStation, right? Those are actually NFTs, it's just that we did not know that was the term that it is actually. So NFTs is something which is very, I would say, bound to gaming, without a doubt. It is the easiest thing which actually picks up. But at the same amount of time, there are a lot of other applications. I mean, there are biggest brands who are actually coming into it. Sorry. So Nike is obviously one of my favorite brands who's actually creating waves in NFT. If you can go and see what they're actually planning to do. Samsung is opening shops on Sandbox. Like, there are so many things that people actually believe in. That is, as I said, I would just be a fool to actually limit to what an NFT can do or what that ecosystem can do.
Do you see any specific demographic change, like what Milan mentioned in terms of how crypto adoption is? Do you see a similar trend in NFT as well?
Okay, so on a professional front, Fancraze didn't exist more than 8 months ago, right? Again, as I said, because of COVID, that is when NFTs actually came out. But overall, because I've been following the space since quite a while, there are 3 basic or maybe 4 types of users who are there. One set of users are people who will just buy it because of the hype. They have no idea what is it going to do, I'm just going to buy it. FOMO, that is what we call it, right? The next set of users are people who will buy it as, let's say, an art or a collectible. Because, let's say, I want Tony 6, which actually came out. Maybe if he becomes tomorrow's Prime Minister, right, that is going to fetch an insane amount. Exactly, right? You never know what can happen. The opportunities are endless. So that is another thing where you can just hold on to your NFTs or think of them as art and actually keep them. Third is utility. When I say utility, as I mentioned earlier, play-to-earn games, metaverses, etc., that is the utilitarians, what we call it. And the last thing are called flippers, right? Flippers is basically once you mint an NFT, basically you have to do 1, 2, 3, 4 things. Once whenever you mint it and you immediately sell it on any platform wherever it is allowed to be sold, you generally end up, not generally, sometimes you end up making insane profits, sometimes you make, like everything goes down the drain. So these are the 4 basic categories of users. Again, coming to your question, what is the change that we've seen? Earlier, first we did not know what NFTs were. Once we got to know what NFTs were, we did not know what they can do. So that is the second question which was answered. Third, we understood the different sets of users. And this specifically has happened overall in the entire NFT universe, maybe in the last 9 to 10 months at the max, not before that. So yeah, I think before that, as I said, I can't compare previous trends to this because it didn't ever exist. So,
And so I'll stick with you. You also touched upon gaming industry and how NFT is impacting the gaming industry. With all the conversation that we have around Web 3.0, how do you think it will impact the gaming industry, especially the economic upside provided by play to earn models?
sure. So gaming industry was basically categorized into two pieces, right? One was casual gaming, one was not play to earn, one was real money gaming. So to give you two basic examples from India, one would be Candy Crush, one would be a Dream Level, right? It's as simple as that. This is the third model which has actually been generated because of the NFT space which has evolved over a period of time. To continue the example of Axie Infinity which you mentioned, the more you start playing, the more I would say levels that you unlock in the game, the number of hours that you actually spend on it, you unlock certain characters. And once you unlock certain characters, you unlock certain metadata which is into them. Again, and frankly, that is something which you should be seeing in the next 6 to 8 months as well, if not earlier. Any NFT that you go today, once our play-to-earn games are out there, once you start staking your NFTs, once you start utilizing your NFTs to play these games, I'll just use that in terms. Once you start utilizing these NFTs to play these games, there's a certain set of metadata which will keep getting unlocked. So let's say if him and I have the similar NFT, right? Let's say, again, Dhoni Singh, because that is the best thing I can always think of. Let's say both of us have the same thing. I spent 0 hours on the game. My NFT is valued at $1,000, right? He spent at least 5 hours every single day and he's unlocked every single thing which is out there, which can be in that NFT altogether. That will always hold a higher value in the secondary market, one, as a collectible second. And I mean, you can, as I said, either you can hold it or you can sell it off. So yeah, play-to-earn models is, I would say, the next evolution of gaming per se.
Thanks, sir. Now coming to you, same question. How do you think Web 3.0 will impact cryptocurrency and the adjoining segments?
Sure. So I think organically the crypto base, which is let's say globally about 150 million globally, about 40 million in India, I mean that will continue to grow, right? More people, as they build the trust in the asset class, they will sort of keep using that investment sort of behavior and lever to become part of or get on crypto. But I think the next wave of crypto adoption, which will be sort of exponential, will not come via just investments. I think it will be via more user first, value first use cases out of blockchain, crypto, NFTs, DeFi can be used very intensively. But I think that is what the next trend is going to be, which is written. I think, as I was talking about DeFi NFTs, they are still in the very early days of them or their evolution. I think today, if we talk about, let's say, just so again, a few numbers. The global, let's say, the DeFi user base. Now, DeFi user base is people who are either staking or transacting with any of the sort of crypto wallets out there at least once a month. That would be about 30 million. And that number would be, now sort of just thinking about India, India sort of today ranks at let's say the 6th number in terms of total DeFi adoption. So we would be having let's say 10 to 15% of that DeFi user base. So we are just sitting at 3-4 million DeFi users. So I think the problem with DeFi is not that it is not just creating use cases, it is creating use cases. But it is easy for myself and Siddharth who are exposed in crypto, not sure about you, but if you're not exposed to crypto, it's not an easy experience, right? Just think about you, if you have to buy an NFT today, or if you have to use a DeFi app today, you first go to an exchange, you complete your bank account verification, your KYCs, you deposit INR, you purchase a crypto, then you set up a MetaMask or similar wallet, which is self-custodial. Now, self-custodial itself is something which is tough to understand. You have to sort of, store the seed phrases and stuff, right? I mean, you have to do your own research and you have to be like very careful about the security of it because the bank is not the custodian, right? With INR, the bank is the custodian. With DeFi wallets, you are the custodian. Right? So if you fuck up, you lose the money. There is no one who is going to save you. So you have to set up a MetaMask. You have to save those sort of secret keys. Then you have to send the money from that whichever exchange you used to that DeFi or MetaMask wallet, and then go about purchasing MetaMask, right? So I think as I sort of spoke about, our vision has always been about making crypto accessible, and I think that is the next wave we are looking at. Right? How can we make DeFi more accessible to Indians and global users? Because I mean, we as end users, we do not care about the underlying technology. Right? All of us use Swiggy, Uber on a daily basis today. How many of us actually understand the internet stack? I don't think many of us would, right? No offense meant to anyone, but generally speaking, the broad base would not understand the fundamental thing, and they don't really care. So I think it is about spreading awareness about DeFi applications, which is value first, use case first, as I said. Second, sort of solving that crypto custody piece, where maybe we can sort of come out, just thinking hypothetically, maybe we can come out with some fusion of self-custody and centralized custody. And third would be sort of simplifying the overall UX for you as a user to access DeFi applications. Right? If we can solve for these three, the buying selling base will continue to grow, but I think a bigger opportunity would lie in growing this DeFi user base and the use cases around it.
Thanks for scaring me. So coming to you, where do you see in terms of adoption of Web 3.0 and Metaverse in your demographic?
Okay. So let's start from this, right? I'm not sure how many of you are into crypto or follow tokens which are coming out, right? Over the last year or so, you would have seen a lot of new things which have happened. Initially, yes, there was Bitcoin, there's Ethereum, there were some gaming tokens like Gala, etc. There were Metaverse tokens, Sandbox, etc. But now there is this surge of fan tokens, which I'm sure you would be very aware of, right? There's Porto which has come out, there are a few other clubs who've come out with their own fan tokens as well. Now, coming to my PlayStation all example, let's think you want to buy a few EA cards, right? You have PlayStation currency today. There's nothing stopping Sony from creating that into a token itself. So every gaming organization or company or every game in itself can have a token which is listed. So over a period of time, it won't be surprising that all of them are maybe listed or are indirectly photoed from existing coins in itself. But that is continuing from the previous question which was there, because I really think, as I've been saying from the start of this conversation, that we would just be very foolish to actually think this is all that we can do, right? It's just a very different ballgame. Again, continuing from the point that he had mentioned earlier, that currently it is very complex for any new person to get into it. Obviously, you need to still do your own research, the standard things which are always mentioned out there. But that is again the next evolution, right? For example, what CoinDCX did a few years ago was actually simplifying what the actual mining system was, right? We brought in an exchange with a country which never even existed. I mean, I'm not sure how many of us tried mining a Bitcoin when it was there, or even thought that they could, right? So that is just a very easy way to actually get it done. At the same amount of time, the entire Web3 ecosystem or the metaverse is an ever-evolving giant, right? No one can see where it's going to stop. And again, I would not be sure, and I don't think anyone in this room can be, that if you could bet everything that this is going to work 100%. It's all about believing in it, trying out, and if it works, it works. But you need to, again, at the same amount of time, you need to know why do you exactly believe in it. That is coming back to the first few things which I mentioned, knowing the roadmap, knowing the team, and making sure the community is in it. Because Web3 is one place where it is all about the user. It is never about the organization. It is not ever going to be about the game, the token, ever. It is always going to be about the community of users who actually are going to be working together. One of the reasons why NFTs is actually taking center stage of sorts, right, is because of the ownership that it gives. It's because of the value that it provides. Because let's say if I can say that I buy a stock on, let's say, one of the one of the listed Nifty stocks, right? I am officially a shareholder, but is that actually mine? Can I do something with that? No, I can just sell it off today, unless it's a certain value, obviously. But with NFTs, that is not the way it works. It is, as I said, it's a juggernaut which is still building every single day, and it's just going to be. I personally, I think it's going to be a crazy ride, but
Thanks, Siddharth. We do have 5 minutes. We can take a couple of audience questions. Okay, I see a lot of hands. Probably go ahead.
Check. Hi, I'm Anurag from MPA. So, one of the major problems that currently exists with most of these crypto games is that, let's say, how developers make money is that they'll allot some tokens to themselves, and then how users make money is that they come and sell X. But over time, let's say if a project became successful, the value of token increases to a certain extent, and at that point, the value of the token itself becomes a barrier of entry to new users. And something that we are seeing in Axie Infinity as well, that AXS has now become so costly that it's becoming difficult for people to enter. So how does a game developer solve this issue? Because you can never put an unlimited number to it, because then it will fall in value. And you can't also put a cap onto it, because then it will just increase in price and will become a store of value. So how do you solve this issue on making sure that the entry barrier is never high?
absolutely. Thank you. The specific example that you gave, right, Axie Infinity, let's start from there. Agreed that the values may be gone from 10 to 500 today. But at the same point of time, it is not ever going to be that there's a halving. There's a halving of the value which is actually existing. As a developer or as an organization, there are two things I can do. Either I can release more tokens, which will automatically dilute the value which is there. That is point one. Second, I can change my entry points. Like for example, if you need one Axie token to actually start playing, I can reduce that to 0.1. For example, I'm not sure how many of us hold one Bitcoin. So there is a 0.000014 Bitcoin, right? So it depends on the organization completely. Either they can say that it is only for a select set of users who can afford this game today, or it is on the organization again, whether they want to reduce that value today and see what comes as a risk out of it, because it always can go both ways, right? Existing users would say that why has that actually gone down? So it's a very, I'd say it's a business call to be taken. So there's no right or wrong answer here. You take it and you have to figure your own way around it.
So sort of quickly, right? I think the fundamentally, as you were saying, the fundamental value of one Bitcoin or the fundamental unit of value in Bitcoin is today one Satoshi, which is let's say 1 million of a Bitcoin. Similarly, we have in Ethereum, right? So as the currency grows, I think the solution to your answer is fractional ownership, right? If you can own a small part of that token, eventually, if the project or the sort of game is community led, they will sort of try and, if they want to expand the user base, they would want to reduce the entry barrier. Right? So as the token value increases, I think the entry sort of value to that ecosystem will eventually become a fraction of what it is today. And Axie Infinity might actually grow into and discover some Satoshi of its own.
So my name is Abhinandan from Lane Instant. So I have a question related to NFT, especially focused on collectibles. Like a company like Ecomi and BB, right? So they have a own platform, but that app, like listed on Google Play Store and Apple Play Store. So when users want to pay in like a crypto, right? But they're not allowed. So basically they're using another form of the currency like gems. So do you think company like a Google and Apple they are listening like a crypto and all, especially for NFT?
Want to take that?
I don't think Google and Apple accept that today. Doesn't mean they won't accept it tomorrow, right? At the same point of time, collectibles or NFTs. For example, Fancraze is a cricket collectible platform, right? We accept fiat currency, which is your credit card, debit card, UPI, literally everything, and we also accept cryptos at the same point of time. One thing which he mentioned, an overlay of DeFi products which will be coming in, those will be wallets. For example, payment gateways helped us solve the payment on, let's say, our e-commerce websites. These wallets will help you solve this specific problem. So let's say if it's an app on Google Play Store, I can always hide or disable my crypto platform of that and just keep the fiat currency option. So that is the way around. Yeah,
Let's say finance in South Korea. So basically, when user buy the Amazon gift voucher and other like gift, right? So basically they pay in local currency, but that local currency converted into the USD, right? That is happening now. But a company like Google and I don't think so they are going to allow maybe they are I don't know means what is the solution in the future.
what's stopping Apple or Google to come out with their own token in a few years as well, right? Maybe, right? But at the same point of time, what I answered was basically, as of today, there are wallets which exist where I don't have to convert, let's say, an INR to a Bitcoin. I can still pay in an INR. And if I want, I can still pay on a Bitcoin. So it depends which wallet you actually integrate. So Fancraze has its own wallet. There are a few other companies out there who give this opportunity or option where users can pay through both these mediums. So I think that would solve that completely.
But thanks to that, for your time and for this panel discussion as well. And it was really educating for me. And I guess looking at the number of questions, a lot of people want to catch up with you guys. So thanks for that and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks.